Good morning, everyone. Happy Easter. Welcome to this special springtime themed class. I've been thinking about this for the last few days because, as many of you know, I cannot resist a good theme, and especially a theme that has fun animal shapes and silly things to do with our bodies. But as I contemplated Easter in specific, and then the state of the world and some other holidays in a little more of a broad sense, I started thinking about how we have these very socially intensive holidays all falling in April this year. We have Easter, which is today. We have had and are still having Passover. Ramadan is coming, Ramayana. All sorts of holidays are converging in this time when we are socially often quite distant from one another. So it's a very different experience perhaps of these holidays than you are used to. So there'll be a little bit of a deeper theme to our class as well, related to some of those holidays and my own experience of them and contemplating some of them over the last couple of days. We are going to do, of course, some fun poses. We're going to be eggs and ducklings and maybe some bunnies and some other fun little springtime animals as well. We're going to start off in a child's pose, if possible for you. If child's pose doesn't work, I encourage you, instead of lying flat on your belly today, to lie on your back with your knees hugged in towards your chest in an Apanasana, because we are going to start as little eggs this morning. So go ahead and begin as you're ready to make your way to child's pose. If you choose that, knees can be open or knees can be far apart, doesn't matter. You just want to come forward and create a little bit of an egg shape here in your child's pose. If that doesn't feel quite comfortable for the knees, the hips, or the lower back, you could go and lie in your Apanasana, your egg just in the other direction, hugging the knees in towards your chest. Take a moment to get comfortable in the place that you have chosen. I'm just going to sit up because I have a little poem for you, but you can stay reclined for a moment here. And as you come into your Apanasana or your child's pose, your egg, first start by taking a clearing breath, a deep breath in, and a deep breath out. And just feel with this breath that you are resetting. You are starting absolutely fresh this morning and new. Each breath is an opportunity to start again. This is a time where perhaps it would be fruitful to contemplate renewal, resurrection, transformation. What about your egg, yourself, needs cracking right now? Is there a habit that maybe could be cracked? Pattern of thinking. It's also a time for contemplation, for allowing yourself to examine your connection to those around you, to those far from you, to any spiritual or religious beliefs. This is actually a poem from a St. Patrick's class that I did a few years ago. It's an Irish poem, but I read it this morning as I was looking through some old journals, and it just resonated with me, so I'm going to share this with you this morning. May the nourishment of the earth be yours. May the clarity of the light be yours. May the fluency of the ocean be yours. And may the protection of the ancestors be yours. And so may a slow wind work these words of love around you in an invisible cloak to mind your life. As you're ready here, you can begin to make your way out of your child's pose or out of your Apanasana. If you're coming from your child's pose, you're going to crawl your fingertips forward towards your table. If you're coming from your Apanasana, you might rock a few times side to side before rolling to one side to come to your table pose. As you come to table, set your hands under your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. Shrug your shoulders far back away from your ears. Reach the crown of your head forward. Close your eyes so you can turn your attention inwards as you inhale. Soften the center of your chest, soften your belly, lift your tail and your gaze. Find your, I'm going to call it today, calf pose. And as you exhale, tuck your tail under, tuck your chin towards your chest, lift your belly. Find your kitten pose. Inhale, calf. And exhale, kitten. Move a few times here at your own pace. See what feels good in the body. One more set. And as you inhale, come back to your neutral spine. You're going to reach your right arm up and out to the right side as you inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to reach your right arm underneath your left armpit for a threaded needle. You can lay the side of your head to the floor. If you need a prop like a book or a block underneath the head, don't hesitate to place one there. You could be tenting your left fingertips or stretching your left arm in front of you. Start to feel a gentle release in your shoulder. On an inhale, you're going to unthread, coming back to the central line, back to your table pose. Take one calf, inhaling, and one kitten, exhaling. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Come back to neutral as you inhale. Lift your left arm up, and then thread your left arm underneath your right armpit. Finding that threaded needle, deciding where you want your right hand to be. Just enjoying this gentle opening of the shoulder. When we consider things like fresh and new, transformation, renewal, first we might need to let go of some old things to make space for these new things. So this first part of our class is about creating some space in our physical bodies, in our shoulders, and our hips. As you're ready, inhale. Go ahead and unwind yourself. Come back to your table pose. Find a calf as you inhale. And a kitten as you exhale. And then as you inhale, you come back to neutral. You could stay here in your table pose, or you could tuck your toes and begin to come towards your downward facing dog pose. Whichever you choose, I encourage you to move around a little bit, pedaling your feet, circling your hips. You can continue your calf and your kitten if you like. When you're ready, you walk or you step or you hop towards the front of your mat. And up here, you're just going to dangle in your forward fold, feet a comfortable distance apart. Hands could be all the way to the floor or to a prop, or you can rest your arms on your legs for extra support. Feel the weight of your body sinking down through the soles of your feet. See if you can feel each of your toes touching the floor. And then pressing your heels down on an inhale, roll yourself slowly all the way up to the sky. Imagine you're a ragdoll, one vertebrae at a time, maybe walking your hands on the thighs to support the low back if it's tender. Roll your shoulders back away from your ears as you exhale. And then as you inhale, take a deep breath in, reach up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, bring your hands in front of your heart. As your hands arrive there, take a deep breath. Again, each breath is a fresh start. Each breath is brand new. Next, inhale, bring your arms up over your head. And as you exhale again, fold all the way forward, forearms to thighs, hands to shins, fingertips to a support or to the floor. And we'll dangle for a few more breaths. You might decide to move a little this time from side to side, or nodding and shaking your head. And just use this as an opportunity to see where your body might be holding on to tension, to tightness. You might need an extra bit of love and attention. And then again, soft ragdoll all the way up. So soft knees, press a little bit of weight into the heels, roll one vertebrae at a time. Take as long as you like. This could take several full deep breaths if needed. When you reach that standing position, roll your shoulders again back and take a deep breath out. And as you breathe in, bring your arms up over your head. Keeping it moving, press the palms of your hands together. Exhale, fold forward. We're going to start with a sun salutation, just to wake up to the sunshine, to the springtime, to the possibility of freshness and renewal. Inhale, find halfway lift. And then as you exhale, plant your hands underneath your shoulders. You might have to bend your knees quite deeply. Walk or step back to a downward facing dog, or drop your knees to table pose. Take a deep full breath here. Lift your hips up and back in downward facing dog. And then inhale, come forward to a plank position. Your shoulders slide over your wrists. Your knees come to the floor if they're not already there from your table pose. Exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, lift your belly. Bring the tops of your feet off of the floor, onto the floor, Shoulders shrug back, cobra pose. And then as you exhale, go ahead and release. Tuck your toes under, move back to table or downward facing dog. Or you can return to your egg pose, your child's pose. Take a few deep, full breaths here. All of these quiet times in our class today are an opportunity to contemplate. With the next inhale, you're going to begin to move back towards the front of the mat. You can walk, you can step. You can hop if you feel ready. Back towards your forward fold as you exhale. Keep your knees soft as you inhale. One smooth breath this time takes you up to the sky. You can take your arms out and up, reach towards the sun. And as you exhale, bring your hands in front of your heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, press the palms of your hands together. Fold all the way forward. Inhale, experience halfway lift, spine roughly parallel to the floor, hands anywhere on the legs or the floor that feels right. Exhale to release, plant your hands down, step, or walk to the back of the mat, downward dog, or if you prefer, table pose, your choice. Take a deep breath here, and then come forward to your plank, maybe walking your hands forward if you're low, and then sliding your shoulders over your wrists. If you like and you're ready for a full push-up, knees could stay up, otherwise knees to the floor. Exhale, lower to the mat. Untuck your toes. Inhale, your variation of cobra. Press the tops of your feet down. And then as you exhale, you have about 4 or 5 breaths. You could spend them in table, in child's pose, or in downward facing dog. Again, your time to contemplate. What is ready for renewal or transformation within you? As you're ready, the next inhale walks or steps you up to the front of the mat. You find that forward fold as you exhale. And then as you inhale, you're going to roll yourself up to the sky. Keep the knees nice and soft. You can always walk the hands on the legs. Exhale, hands come in front of the heart. Inhale, reach the arms up. As you exhale, fold all the way forward again. Inhale, find halfway lift. As you exhale, you plant your hands. This time you're going to step your left foot to the back of the mat. And then you're going to place your right knee right over your right ankle. You can be framing your front foot with your fingertips if that feels good. Or you can place your hands to the inside of your front foot. Feel free to take your front foot a little wider, right foot a little more to the right if you need to. You can also place your hands on blocks because we're going to stay in this lunge position for a few moments and just experience what it feels like. See if you can sink a little lower towards the floor with your shoulders, with your belly, without collapsing your leg. Your back leg wants to be strong. You want to be lifting your left hip up. Feel the power of gravity here. And as you're ready, press a little bit into your left heel. You're going to open up. Twist to your right, lift your right hand to your thigh, your hand to your hip or your arm all the way up to the sky. Reach towards the sun. Feel a little bit of freedom as you twist, opening the shoulders and the hips. Take another deep breath here. And then fold back towards the floor. You're going to plant your hands under your shoulders. So if, like me, you took your foot wide, you'll want to walk your right foot back in. And you're going to step back, table or downward facing dog. And you could stay right here in your table or your downward facing dog. Or you could rest in your egg pose, either one upside down or right side up. Or you can join me in a half vinyasa, inhaling to plank. Knees up or down, your choice. Exhale to the floor. Inhale. Cobra, or if you're ready, maybe upward facing dog. If you prefer, Sphinx is always available, elbows under the shoulders. Exhale, we'll meet in the next breath or two in a table or a downward facing dog pose. From there, inhale, lift your left foot up into the sky. Exhale, step your left foot forward. Again, we'll hold this lunge for a few breaths. Fingertips could frame, hands could come inside. You can walk the left foot further left if you need to. And then just see if you can drop your upper body a little lower, closer to your lower body, but without that collapsing. Notice how that feels in the body. I don't know about you, but I can certainly feel a little bit of heat building, welcoming a little bit of sunshine into my yoga room here and also into my internal body. So begin to heat up and use that heat to help you find a little bit of release in your twist. As you're ready, press a little bit into that right heel, even lift the right hip a little higher as you twist over to your left, taking your left arm up to the sky. Shrug your shoulders back. Let this feel delightful. Inhale here. And as you exhale, you fold back towards the floor. If you walk your left foot out, you're going to want to walk it back in so you can plant your hands here, soften your back knee. You're going to step to the front of the mat. Inhale, find a halfway lift. Exhale to soften. We're going to dangle here for a few breaths. Again, you might nod or shake your head if that feels pleasant. You might decide to take your hands around behind your back and interlace your fingers or grab a wrist or lace the hands to the elbows, getting a little work into the shoulders. As you're ready, you can find again your halfway lift, hands onto the legs or the floor. Exhale to fold. Soft knees, one smooth breath rolls you to the sky. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. When you're ready, inhale, arms come overhead. Exhale to fold. Inhale, find halfway lift. Again, you're going to step back first with the left foot, planting your hands down. Left foot to the back of the mat. Same lunge position as the first time. So you could be fingertips framing or hands inside. I find personally I really like that. I can get a lot more stretch in my back hip. Feels really lovely, but that's just my preference. It may not be yours. Ground down. Feel your feet against the floor. Notice what's happening in your body and notice where in your body you are holding things that don't need to be held. You're holding tension in your jaw, or you're shrugging your shoulders up, or you're gripping your toes, or you're clenching your belly. Your belly can be elevated. You can find a little bit of lift here, but it shouldn't be a hard knot inside of your tummy. Take another breath, and then you're going to find that release of the twist. If you want even a deeper release, you could drop your back knee to the floor and let this be really yummy. Opening up on an inhale to your right, hand to thigh, hand to hip or arm, all the way up to the sky. Inhale. Now as you exhale, bring your right hand to the inside of your right foot. Tuck your back toe under if you're in the low lunge with me. Lift your back knee, and we're going to get a little silly here, and we're going to go into our ducky pose. So you want your right foot to come a little wider. Right toes angle out to the right front corner of the mat, or even a little off the edge of the mat. Soften your back knee and see if you can step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. It might take several attempts to get there, but you end up with your toes out and your heels in and your little ducky butt behind you. You might stay here with your hands on the floor or your hands on blocks. You're kind of a tall ducky. Or you might drop down into your little duck waddle, and maybe you go a little side to side. Maybe you even bring your hands in front of your heart for this squat. And remember, your squat isn't about what it looks like. It's about, do you feel your hips and your thighs starting to get warm? Take another breath here. And then press your fingertips to the floor. Start to lift your buns up. When you find about a forward fold, inhale, find halfway lift. You can keep your feet angled out if that feels okay. Exhale, fold. As you inhale, keep a little softness in your knees and roll all the way up to the sky. As you exhale, bring your hands in front of your heart, bend your knees, come back into a little bit of a squat. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, squat. One more squat. Range of motion is totally up to you. Inhale, come all the way up. Now bring your feet a little closer together. Turn your toes to face the short edge of your mat. And as you exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, find halfway lift. And then as you exhale, plant your hands under your shoulders. You're going to step your left foot back. And then what you're going to do is step your right foot back. Downward facing dog or knees to the floor table. Again, you could stay right here. This might feel perfect. You could drop to your egg, or you could take a half vinyasa, inhaling to plank, exhaling to the floor. Inhale, your back bend, cobra or upward dog or sphinx. Exhale, find your base pose. Take a few breaths. When you're ready, your right foot is going to come all the way up to the sky as you inhale. And then you're going to step your right foot up towards the front of the mat. Soften your back and step your left foot next to your right foot. Inhale, find forward fold. Find halfway lift. Exhale, now find forward fold. Inhale, roll all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands come in front of your heart. Take one deep, refreshing, new breath for the new side. And then we'll continue over to the left. Inhale, arms up over the head. Exhale to fold. And I'm taking my hands to the center because it feels really nice, but you can take your hands out to the sides as you fold if you like. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, plant your hands down. Now step your right foot to the back of the mat. You could stay in your lunge with your fingertips framing your left foot, or you could bring your hands to the inside. Totally preference. See what feels good to your body. Place your hands down or on props in a way that allows you to perhaps lower the upper body a little bit, but keep the back and the lower body elevated. Feel the power of gravity. Draws you downwards with that right hip, and then you have to remember, okay, a little bit of lift there, but a little softness in the shoulders. It's a variation on lizard pose. Getting into the hips so they can really release. When you're ready, you're going to find your twist, so lift up a little bit. If you want even deeper release and more stretch, you can always drop your right knee to the floor. As you inhale, you turn to the left hand to the thigh or hand to the hip, or arm all the way up to the sky. And this should just feel like release. It should feel yummy and opening, and if it doesn't, please adjust. Adjust the angle of your front foot. The way you put your hand on the floor. Maybe a fist feels better than the hand. Inhale. And then exhale, come all the way down. Hand comes to the inside of the left foot. Oh, hello, little bug friend. There you go. And then bring your hands down. Tuck your back toe if you're with me in the low lunge. Lift your back knee, and you're going to wiggle the left foot a little further to the left. Toes out, heels in for your little ducky. Soften the back knee, and see if you can step your right foot to the outside of your left foot. And maybe you just want to wiggle your ducky butt here, a little bit here, and go ahead, wiggle it. You're probably at home by yourself or just with your partner or your family, so who cares if you look silly? I'm the only one who's going to look silly for posterity. And yes, that was a pun. Exhale, maybe you go a little deeper. You can go all the way down between your heels like a little duck, squatting. You kind of feel your waddle. Maybe you move a little side to side. Many of you know I have recently become a proud duck owner, so I have been spending quite a lot of time gazing on ducks and their duckish ways. And they sit with their butts exactly like this constantly. When you're ready, you're going to press your fingertips to the floor and lift up. Feel the release, the relief of coming out of that. You can keep your feet wide. Inhale, come all the way up to the sky. As you exhale, you're going to find a squat. Feel free to adjust your feet if the squat with the knees forward feels better. You're just doing 3 of these. Inhale to lift. Exhale to squat. One more. And then inhale, come all the way up. As you exhale, you're going to fold forward. If your feet are not already facing the short edge, you might adjust for that. Inhale, halfway lift. And then as you exhale, you plant your hands down. You're going to step your right foot again to the back of the mat. And then your left foot to the back of the mat. Downward dog or table pose. Option to take your half vinyasa if you would like, or just to hang out. If you want that half vinyasa, it's inhale to plank. Exhale to the floor. Inhale, cobra or upward dog or sphinx pose. Exhale, we'll meet in table or downward facing dog in the next breath or 2. Holding here for one more deep breath, table or dog. And then walk or step, or if you feel frisky and you want to be like a little bunny, bring your toes together, bend your knees, and try a few little hops. 1, 2, 3 or ish, 4, halfway lift. And exhale, find your forward fold. Inhale, roll all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands come in front of the heart. Again, each breath is totally fresh, totally new. Anything that just happened, whether it pleased you or displeased you, is now the past. There's nothing that can be done to change it. See if you can think about looking forward. It's not that we forget what happened, but that we use what has happened to inform how we move forward. In our physical practice, this can mean paying attention to what's happening in our body, noticing, oh yeah, X felt really good. Hopping felt great. I want to do that again. Or it could be the exact opposite. Oh, that felt a little too deep in my hip. I'm going to back off. I'm going to use that past information to better proceed into the future. I'm going to use the fruit of my contemplation to guide my actions. And one more standing set here. So when you're ready, inhale, bring your arms up. As you exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, pick up halfway, lift. As you exhale, put your hands down. This time you're going to step your right foot back to the back of the mat first. And then walk your hands to the inside of your left foot. Turn to look towards your right shoulder, and you're going to walk towards the long edge of your mat. Your right foot turns to face it. Your left foot turns to face it. And you come to wide-legged forward fold. Fingertips to the floor, hands to a block or a prop. You could fold further forward if that feels nice. We're going to hang here for a few breaths. If you ended up turning away from me and you wanted to turn to face towards me, don't worry, because everything we're doing here, it doesn't matter which side is right and which side is left. You're just going to go each direction, so you can always flip around and face the other long edge of your mat if you need to. Again, take a moment to contemplate. And this can be purely about your physical practice. This can be a bit more esoteric. What serves you today? Imagine now that you are drawing the arches of your feet towards the center line of the mat, so you feel your inner thighs start to fire up. Press your fingertips to the floor, lift up about halfway, and here we'll come all the way to standing. You could walk your hands on your thighs, bring your hands to your lower back, or if you feel strong in your core, arms could come out to the sides. Inhale, lift all the way up to standing, roll your shoulders back. And as you exhale, you're going to turn your right foot to face the short edge of the mat. Doesn't matter which direction it's going. Back foot, you're going to come to warrior two. Could be angled slightly towards the left front corner of the mat, or could face directly towards the long edge. See where you feel comfortable as you bend your right knee and stack your right knee over your right ankle. Open your arms out to the sides. Turn your gaze forward and relax your shoulders. This is your warrior two. Again, feel gravity. Feel the soles of your feet. As you inhale, turn your right palm to face the sky, and as you exhale, fold back left hand to left thigh, right arm up over your head. Reverse, reach towards the sunshine. And then inhale, come back to the center line. As you exhale, you're going to fold forward, right arm to right thigh. Left arm could reach straight upward, reach a little over your head, extended side angle. If it's in your practice and you're ready to go deeper, you can always take your right hand down towards the floor a little more. Shrug your left shoulder back. If it feels nice, the gaze could come up. Inhale back to the center line, warrior two. As you exhale, you turn to look to your right fingertips. Turn your left fingertips and palm, up towards the ceiling, and then windmill forward. So the left hand is coming next to the right hand. You're going to rotate your back foot to face straight forward towards the right edge. Plant your hands down. And then here, take a look back at your back foot. If it feels really far away, you might step it in, and then you're going to straighten your right leg a little bit, finding a pyramid pose. My fingertips are on the floor. That feels pretty decent, but you might have to put your hands up on blocks, books, water bottles, whatever works. I have my back heel lifted, but you can also rotate a little bit, 45-ish degree angle, and place your back heel on the floor for this position. What we're going for is release, freedom in our right hip and the back of the right leg. That may or may not mean that your right knee is straight. Right knee might be quite bent to experience a stretch in the back of the right leg. You may or may not decide to fold further forward. Again, use the information that you have, your experience of the past, to guide what you do now in the present and what you do in the future. Take another deep breath here. I hope you feel your right hip and your right thigh quite nicely. We have another silly little pose coming up here. As you inhale, you're going to bend your right knee. You can stack up your fingertips if you need to. Turn your back foot straight forward and back. And then you're going to step back to either a table or a dog with 3 legs. So the right leg will come all the way up into the sky as you inhale. Bend your right hip, stack your right hip on top of your left, or your right knee on top of your left hip. You can be doing this in your downward facing dog, but it works equally well with the left knee on the floor for table pose. And then as you inhale, square your hips. As you exhale, you're going to take your right knee behind your right hand. Lay your left foot diagonally back behind your left hand. This is traditional pigeon pose, but I am calling this duckling pose because this is how the ducklings like to lie. They extend one leg back behind them. You can tuck your left toes under and slide your left hip back, stretching your left foot. And it might feel good to stay quite elevated here. Or it might feel quite a bit nicer to fold forwards. As in any class, if this traditional variation of duckling pigeon pose is not right for your body, you could always take pinwheel shape, sitting a little bit to the outside edge of the right hip, left knee comes in, and you might fold here. Or you might take reclined pigeon, coming onto your back, right ankle over the top of your left knee. All of these target your outer right hip. Finding there some release, some transformation from the perhaps tense, tight state of your muscles, your fascia, your tissues, to hopefully a looser and more relaxed state as we finish this pose. Take the next few breaths again to turn a little inwards, to think perhaps on the themes that are cropping up this month. Renewal, freedom, contemplation. How are you experiencing these things? How is it perhaps different from how you've experienced these holidays, these cultural traditions in the past? When you're ready, you're going to release yourself from your duckling. And you're going to put your hands underneath your shoulders and you're going to lift up. If you're lying on your back, you can just hug your knees again into your chest like you did at the beginning of class perhaps. And rock yourself side to side, coming to a table or a downward facing dog. From your forward facing position, either on the outer hip or the front of the hip, you'll come back to table. Or downward facing dog for a few breaths. Feel free to move your hips around, pedal your feet. Take your calf and your kitten. And then when you're ready, again, you're going to float your right foot up into the sky. And you're going to step your right foot to the front of your mat towards the right short corner. And then you'll walk back to the long edge. Left foot turns to face it, right foot turns to face it. You're back in your wide-legged forward fold. Maybe you want to start to work a little more into release of your shoulders here. And again, you take your arms behind your back. You can interlace your fingers, grab a wrist. If you have a hard time interlacing your fingers or holding the wrist because the shoulders are tight, feel free to hold a sweat sock, a belt, anything between your hands that helps you to find some connection. When you're ready, you're going to release whatever you're doing with your arms. Press your fingertips to the floor. Come to that halfway lift. Again, we'll come all the way to standing. So draw the heels towards one another. Rise all the way up. Inhale. As you exhale, bring your hands down to the sides. Turn your left foot to face the short edge of the mat. Bend your left knee. Back foot again could be slightly angled towards the right front corner of the mat, or could be straight towards the long edge. See what feels good to your hip. Open your arms out. Reach your fingertips to opposite ends of the room. Left palm turns up as you inhale. As you exhale, fold back, reverse your warrior. Reach up towards the sunshine. The thing that I think many cultural traditions that celebrate holidays at this time of year have in common is it's about newness. It's about that return of the sunshine. It's about the return of new growth. This is the time when babies, animal babies, are born. It's warm. We begin to see the trees flower. Inhale, come back to the center line, and as you exhale, left arm to left thigh, right arm overhead. You can slide a little forward. Begin to experience what transformation is physically in the physical world. Turns our attention, perhaps, to what could, again, transform within us. Take another deep breath here. And then inhale, come all the way up. Arms are parallel to the earth. You turn your gaze to the left. You turn your right palm up. And you take your right hand as close to the left hand as possible, rotating the hips a little forward. There's a little stretch for your hip flexors. And then you keep folding as you rotate your back foot to face towards the short edge of the mat. Plant your hands down, and you straighten your left leg. You can adjust. You can always step your back foot further in or set your back heel down for your pyramid. Little bit of straightness in your left leg. And that little bit is the most important part. Your leg might like to be perfectly straight, but it might like to be almost as deeply bent as having the knee over the ankle. That might be where you feel the beginning of that transformation in your muscles from tight to flexible. And enjoy the intensity in your body. If it is so intense that you cannot enjoy it and all you can do is wonder when we're going to stop doing it, back off a little bit. If you're not feeling anything and you're just sitting here being bored, straighten your front leg a little more. Draw your left hip back, draw the crown of your head forward, or fold a little deeper so that you feel your body. And then when you're ready, you're going to lift up a little bit, bend your left knee. You want your hands to be planted on your shoulders. Turn your right foot to face straight forward and back. And you're going to go back to a three-legged table or a three-legged dog. Lift your left foot up into the sky as you inhale. Bend your left knee, stack your left hip on top of a right. Remember, you can do this in your table or your downward-facing dog. See what feels right. Square the hips as you inhale. And as you exhale, you can make your way towards your duckling pose. Left knee behind left ankle for the most traditional variation. And you reach that right foot back and tuck the toes. And perhaps here you fold forward. Remember, you can always take pinwheel variation out and sitting on the outer edge of your right hip. So a little more open. Or you can rock onto your back, left ankle over the top of your right knee. It's not important what it looks like. It's important that you feel the hip. You feel the left thigh, perhaps. And what you feel is change. Feel something within your body transforming. People often say to me, oh, I can't do yoga because I'm not flexible. We do yoga to become more flexible, both physically and mentally and emotionally. Our practice is about not how we look when we bend and we pretzel about. It's about how that makes us feel. Makes us feel good in our bodies, to stretch them out, to release tension. And when we feel good in our bodies, we can transform our bodies and help them to do things better and more easily. Often that translates to better mental and emotional feelings as well. It's all connected. When you're ready, you can begin begin to release from this side of your pigeon, your duckling pose. Hands come under the shoulders. If you're on your back, maybe a happy baby, soles of the feet up towards the ceiling. If you're coming from that forward facing variation, maybe lift that left leg behind you, and then we'll all meet in table or downward facing dog. If you like, you can add a half vinyasa here, or you can just gently move about, kind of loosening things up a little. And once more, the left foot will lift to the sky on an inhale, and you'll step your left foot to the front of the mat on the exhale. Hands come to the inside, and you're gonna walk back to the long edge of the mat where we started this set. Fingertips to the floor, or you could reach behind your back, or you could reach for your ankles and hold on as you fold. Take a few breaths here. And maybe now begin to notice if there is any change in how you feel from folding forward at the beginning of class. Do your muscles feel looser? Perhaps that change is just now you feel a little tired. Has your mental or emotional state changed with this physical movement? When you're ready, you're going to press your fingertips to the floor. You're going to lift up halfway. And again, we're going to come all the way to standing. So a little bit of softness in the knees, lift in the core, all the way up as you inhale. And here, you could just heel toe your feet together if you feel a little frisky, like a little bunny. You could do a couple little hops into the center line. Roll your shoulders back. Bring your hands in front of your heart. Turn your toes slightly closer together than your heels to make a little wedge of pizza or pie. It doesn't matter if your toes like to touch or your feet like to be quite wide apart. You want a big piece of pie or a little slice. Just a little bit. Inhale, lift up onto your tippy toes. See if you can stay here for a few breaths, which is much harder than it sounds. Or maybe I'm just saying that. It's hard for me. It's difficult to be on the tippy toes when you think about being on the tippy toes. And then as you exhale, you're going to bend your knees. This might happen on your tippy toes. This might happen on the flats of your feet. And you're going to come to a level of squat that feels appropriate for your body. Feel free to take your knees wider if you need to. If it feels good, you can come all the way down and sit on your heels. Lift the center of your chest. Press the palms of your hands, perhaps together. They might have to be used for balance, though, so don't hesitate. Take a deep breath here. And then you're going to release yourself to seated. If it feels good, you can rock straight back onto your buttocks. And we're going to come towards what I'm calling today our Easter basket pose. So soles of the feet come to the floor, hands come behind the thighs, lift the center of your chest, and lean back. Create your Easter basket. Lift your chest, bring your belly button in. If you feel like you're ready for a little more intensive basketing, you could lift the soles of your feet off of the floor, flexing, pointing the toes. Maybe you're just really into this Easter basket and you think, oh yeah, I need a bigger, more spacious basket. And you extend your legs. Or perhaps you extend your arms, and you can do both, or you can do just one or the other. You can see what works. And take a few breaths here. Start to feel some nice wobble, some nice heat, some nice experience of adrenaline in your body as you go, oh yeah, okay, I have to hold everything here. You can always be holding the back of the thighs, or even putting the hands on the floor behind you to support yourself. Remember, you want to feel the core muscles at the front of the body. You don't want to feel your lower back tensing up and experiencing pain. If that's the case, please literally back off. Maybe another deep breath here with your Easter basket. And then let's gather some eggs. Fold your feet in. Wrap your arms around you. Your toes might rest on the floor, but you might be able to just balance here as you tuck your chin in towards your chest, creating your little Easter egg. And you might decide to stay as an Easter egg and just rest. But maybe you want to go on a little hunt and want to collect some more Easter eggs. So you get out your basket as you inhale. And as you exhale, you put an egg in the basket. And you can repeat that a few times. Find your basket. find your basket and gather an egg. And maybe you've got a couple more in you, maybe not. You can stop hunting for Easter eggs at any point if you have enough. Last one if it's still feeling good. And then come to rest. Place the soles of your feet on the floor. Bring the knees out to the side, feet together. Feet a comfortable distance away from your groin and find a forward fold. Find a butterfly pose. Rest down for a moment. When you're ready, crawl your fingertips in towards you. Gather your knees in. And then go ahead and sit in a comfortable way. You could sit cross-legged. You could sit with your legs extended out in front of you. We're just going to take a little twisting exercise to make sure that both of your sits bones, your hips are on the floor, and you feel like you're pretty stable here. If you want to sit onto a blanket, totally fine. We're going to move a little bit into our twist, so just make sure if you're sitting up onto a prop that it is not going to rock side to side. Let your hands come down. As you inhale, grow tall through the crown of the head, lift your arms up over your head. And as you exhale, twist over to your right. Drop your hands down to a comfortable placement. Inhale, come back to the center line. And exhale, now twist to your left. Inhale to the center. Exhale to the side. I encourage you, if it's comfortable, to close your eyes here and let your body guide this movement. It could be considerably slower. Maybe you spend several breaths on each side in the twist. You could be going faster. One side could be the inhale, the other side could be the exhale. You want to find an organic rhythm. Maybe you change the positioning of the arms, where your physical body, rather than your mental processes, your mind, are guiding this. You started out with kind of your mind with your willpower, but now you're just letting your body take over. If your body takes over, your body doesn't care if it looks good, if it looks silly. Your body just cares that it feels nice. And just move the pace that feels good. Finishing up whatever you're working on. When you can complete it, you're twisting, you come back to the center line and you take a deep breath. Go ahead, blink your eyes open. And here, if you need to switch your seat or you want to switch the crossing of your legs, please do. You're going to walk your hands behind you just for a little bit of openness at the center of the chest. Lift your heart, roll your shoulder blades back, maybe even gaze up towards the ceiling. And just notice sensation in your body. As you're ready, relax your tailbone towards the floor, let your belly button come back, roll back forward. If you drop your head back, come back. Reach your arms out in front of you and wrap your arms around yourself. Give yourself a big hug here. You can nod your chin towards your chest. And if it's possible, you can massage your shoulder blades or your upper arms here. And inhale, open everything up. Open your arms. So open your gaze, maybe even look up towards the sun. And then exhale, cross your left arm on top or the opposite arm on top and wrap your arms around yourself. Big hug. Inhale, open everything up. And as you exhale, simply float your fingertips down to the side. Go ahead and stretch out on your mat. We're coming towards Shavasana, so if there's any other pose or shape that your body needs before you relax, you are more than welcome to take that. You just want to find for your body a comfortable resting place. If lying flat on your back doesn't feel quite right, you are more than welcome to lie on your side, your belly, to take any relaxing pose for your body this morning. Again, take a deep, full breath in. And an even deeper, fuller breath out. And allow yourself here to again, perhaps contemplate. Maybe you're thinking on a more personal level. You did at the beginning of class. Is there anything in your egg that needs cracked? Maybe you're thinking on how things are a little different this year or a lot different this year. Maybe you're thinking on finding renewal or transformation or freedom. Perhaps you're thinking about finding connection and what that might mean now as opposed to what it perhaps meant in the past. Any introspection, any thoughts that arise are valuable here. Have the time, I encourage you to stay as usual as long as you can in your Shavasana, just enjoying this relaxation, this quiet space. If, like me, it is time to move into the rest of your day, you can take a deep breath in and a big sigh out. Again, clearing the slate, everything moving forward is fresh and new and spring-like and bright. Wiggle your fingers, your toes, shake your jaw around, and make your way all the way over to one side to rest. for a few breaths. From there, you can make your way all the way up to your most comfortable seat. As you arrive there, you can bring your hands in front of your heart. Press all 10 of your fingertips together in this pose, or this mudra. This hand gesture is meant to connect us, to connect the right side and the left side of our bodies and our mental processes. We've heard right brain, left brain, connecting all of that, the creative, the analytical, palms together. And then as you rest the hands at the heart, you're just connecting all of those qualities together. We'll close here with our deep breath in through nose, out through mouth if possible, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Namaste. Thank you so much for sharing your practices and your morning times with me. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'd love to hear any comments about the class, any requests for classes for the next week. Let me know. I hope to see you virtually again soon. Have a wonderful day.